News came out that Keith Urban had moved in with country singer Karley Collins, who had opened for him on his 2025 High and Alive World Tour. These stories came out that they were in a relationship. She's 26, he's 58, and they were living together, and people were linking them being together almost to his divorce from Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, because the implication was that it had started before him and Nicole had split.
Yes. And we were saying yes on the show, like we obviously didn't know if it was true because there was no confirmed reports. There weren't even any kind of like blurry pat pictures to go off, any of that sort of stuff that we often have when these stories blow up. It was just a lot of speculation, but obviously there's heaps of photos and footage of them together because they had toured together.
Yeah. And when you tour together, you're on the road spending lots and lots of time together.
Yeah, exactly. So every single outlet who was reporting this had said we've reached out to their reps. They're not responding. We always knew Keith wouldn't respond, and that would be wild if he did. Unless, I guess, someone was saying something awful about his kids or his family or something. I think he was just laying low. And I did wonder whether Karley would respond, just because we were saying that, like, you know what, these things, when these stories break, like, people always attack the young woman first.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And she has responded.
She has responded. So she put up I'm assuming she turned down all of the interview offers that were pouring in thick and fast. And instead she went the kind of just old school route of just so she screenshot one of the stories which had the headline, Keith moved in with Karley Collins ? So I guess she went through and she picked one that phrased it as a question rather than a fact. And then she screenshot that, and across it in text she wrote, y'all, this is absolutely ridiculous and untrue.
Sorry, can you do that again with the accent? I need Nashville Laura.
I felt like I had to do her justice because she said y'all at the front, which I obviously can't do because I'm from Townsville and it really shows whenever I try and do an accent. Yeah, that was what she put out. This is absolutely ridiculous and untrue. And so a lot of publications, including People magazine, say they've reached out to her to comment further, and she has declined. She's like, I'm not doing an in-depth interview.
No.
Although she's got a few albums out and she is touring herself.
I was going to say, I mean, like, good on her for taking the high road and just doing it this, like, clean, simple way where she's controlled it. She said what she wanted to say. It's short and sweet. But, you know, this is like a lot of eyes on her. This is a lot of people that could potentially tune and listen to her music. She could have taken this opportunity to go, okay, I'll do a sit-down interview.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, the thing is, I never think that most things that people think are a publicity stunt are a publicity stunt, especially when people are like, oh, that 4-year relationship, publicity stunt. And I was like, that is... They would barely do press for that movie. You think they're dedicating 4 years of their life to keeping up this whole thing
this
of like
with
families and travel involved and all this sort of stuff. Like, guys, actors are on the clock. They charge by the hour.
Yeah.
Like they're not doing that. I'm not saying she did this as a publicity stunt, but if it was a publicity stunt, if someone on her team kind of leaked this story or just gave it a little bit of breath or pushed it out there in any way, it would be the way to do a publicity stunt because it's like burns fast and bright. She can say it's not true. People will then know it's not true. But now everyone knows her name and the names of her albums and when she's touring.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had never heard of her until...
Me neither. I'm not super across the country scene. I think people who are in that space really know her.
Yeah.
But it's got her name out there. Again, I'm not saying it's a publicity stunt, but I'm just saying if it was.
But if it was, it's a great one.
It's a well-orchestrated one.
It
because
is.
I feel like people believe her. She's come out looking, Keith stayed out of this and he's not winning the divorce, as we've spoken about before. But I feel like now everyone's just like, oh, this poor woman who was dragged into this and she's just trying to be a country star and like, let's listen to her music.
I mean, I like the Keith and Karley alliteration thing.
Keith and Karley on the road would watch.
Yeah, I totally would.